Hello and welcome back to another episode of Captain Harris. Today we're here with the whole gang to discuss miscellaneous tour predictions. So, things like event shirts where the band might mess up.
Just what do we expect?
Yes.
What do we think is going to happen?
What's to expect? So, boys, where do we want to start? Event shirts? Show?
We should start with the show, right? The show must go on.
Well, while he finds that, I'm happy once again to be back on the program.
The Captain Harris Show.
The Captain Harris Show. Long-time listener, first-time caller. Very excited to be here, and I think we've all started buying our flights, hotels.
Yep.
Obviously, concert tickets are well booked. So now we are really ramping up the proceedings as we get closer to Ljubljana.
So, as usual, this video came about by us texting each other, like, oh, what do you think? Is this going to happen? Is this going to happen? And it's like, okay, we should do a video on this. So,
do a video.
That's why we're here today.
Well, we've been talking about it so much.
Oh, so I can't get my mind off it.
We got to get it out.
Yeah, so, James, you have the notes.
I have my notes.
By all means, crack into your notes, and then we will discuss.
Okay, so looking back at when they did Made in England, they did a new intro song. Do you think they're going to just totally reprise Blade Runner
Or
for this, or make something new?
are they going to buy some stock music? Some epic stock music.
From YouTube.
Like they did. I think that's what they did on Made in England.
So here's the thing. I loved the intro to Made in England.
Me too.
The
Mercury Rising.
Mercury Rising, and it was also, what was it?
The icebergs
Icebergs,
falling.
very BBC America, because we're in America, of like Planet Earth style documentary footage. I like it. So, to answer the question, yes.
You think they're going
They
to
will be using stock music.
Oh.
They will not be using Blade Runner. I don't think so. Again, just me personally, I think that Blade Runner sounds a bit dated, unless they went with like Blade Runner 2049, like the Hans Zimmer score.
Yeah, that's why I thought like they would maybe like rework it if they're allowed.
Maybe.
Like I don't know what the copyright would be on something like
Yeah.
that. But
Hans Zimmer's a massive Maiden fan. Spoke to him about it recently, so I think we'd be fine. No, but that's just my take. Is I think it's not going to be the original. I think similar to how maybe they would have addressed Flight 666 or somewhere back in time. It's not necessarily a repackaging, or it's a repackaging of the old show, not a complete redo of the old show.
yeah, I wouldn't expect it to be just the plain, end credits song that they did.
yeah.
But I would expect to maybe have like, the callback to that somewhere.
Somewhere
Yeah.
somewhere in time.
So leading into the first song, which we all expect to be Caught
Dr.
Somewhere in Time after Doctor, and not Blade Runner. This wasn't my idea, but I can't remember who brought it up. I think it was Steph. But the idea of the two Eddies showing up on the two screens and kind of firing their weapon at each other would be a really wicked way to kind of
Start the show.
start that show. And if there was a way they, like, with the Senjutsu arrow and then the ray gun, if they could find some way to shoot some pyro in those directions and then meet in the middle and have a little explosion and then like, lights and then the
Doogie 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 doogie.
Digga.
Yeah,
Sounded like Final Frontier. Sounded like a little Satellite 15. What if they opened with that? Could you imagine? Lights go down and you hear the.
So, me personally, I think for Caught Somewhere in Time, Bruce is going to have some kind of reprise light-up jacket.
I do too.
It's not going to be the same at all, but it'll
God,
be
I
in
hope
the vein
not.
of it. No, because it
I
didn't
think
work.
so heavy.
Look at that. I mean, if they did something like that with their budget today and it looked the way that it used to, I'd be very disappointed.
No, I mean, and obviously the advancement's not just in LED technology, but
Jacket technology.
well, jacket technology. I mean, Chris Jericho, the professional wrestler, he has a light up jacket. He could, and obviously
Could
Chris,
borrow his.
he could probably, Chris Jericho's a friend of the band, so he could easily just snatch one from the closet of Mr. Jericho. He's in a band called Fozzy. I don't know if you guys know that, but no,
This channel is just slowly turning into a Fozzy.
a Fozzy
channel.
chat. Like and subscribe. Leave a comment. What's your favorite Fozzy song? Wholeheartedly agree. Light up jacket. James confirmed.
Yes.
I agree.
I look
Yep.
forward to all of their outfits because it's like, there wasn't much different to expect with last year's tour because it's like we've been on like the same costumes for like 5 years. I'm looking forward to a whole wardrobe change for the whole band. Like, this is going to be awesome. Like, obviously you guys know I love costumes, so it's like I need to see what everybody's wearing. Steve, bring back some pants.
Wear some
Ooh,
pants.
Steve with pants. That hasn't been since what, 2009? Somewhere back in time.
Somewhere back in time.
Could we go an entire tour without seeing Steve's knees?
Calves.
Calves. I can't believe it. Oh, you can't. What would you do if you saw Adrian Smith with a mullet again?
I don't know. I'm gonna be feeling a lot of emotions at that first show.
If
but
he has a mullet?
if he has a mullet, that's gonna be bringing a whole new emotion into the picture.
Your brain just.
I don't think he has time for a mullet. We had a year and 7 months between last legs.
Nobody has time for that.
No one has time for a mullet.
You don't have time to grow a mullet out. Like it's
Wigs.
too late.
They should do
Too
wigs.
Yeah. So no Adrian Smith mullet.
Yannick grew his hair out quick.
Yeah, it did.
He went from shopping mall chic to rock star real quick.
He went from affliction shirt
Yes.
There was
to full on Vans.
There was a recent photo when the Royal Mail stamps came out of, like, obviously they just, like, took some pictures of the bands, like, holding, like, stuff.
Yeah.
The one
and
that you
then,
keep
like,
seeing over and over again of Steve going,
yeah, and then they, like, Photoshop in the stamps and stuff. Well, they had one with Dave and Yannick in it. And I was like, I didn't know we would see a day where Dave Murray's hair was longer than Yannick's.
Yeah.
And it was, like, I'll put the picture right here, like, Bruce with long hair.
Are you gonna put the photo somewhere?
Yeah.
You want to put it like.
Because-
moving on. I think, now this is just an idea I had for placement of kind of band members for the first song, because you like to think how they're going to blast out, what are you going to see 1st thing. And my thought was Bruce is going to sing Caught Somewhere in Time on his
Catwalks?
catwalks. Just like, Where Eagles Dare and If Eternity Should Fail, and not come down until the second song. So I think he's going to have some kind of jacket. He's going to be up on those risers for all of Caught Somewhere in Time. And then when we get a shorter song like, Speed of Light was, or 2 Minutes was in Legacy, that's when he comes out to the front on the floor for the first time.
So, like, a sort of If Eternity Should Fail thing?
Just, yeah, exactly what I just said.
As he just had said.
Oh,
Yes.
sorry. I was like thinking about the idea and I
Like,
missed
he
it.
is listening.
Because I was like, when was the last time that happened? And then he said it while my mind was like, blah, 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 blah.
So then, hear me out here. So then, going off of what James was saying, what if, similar to Eternity Should Fail, what if the entire time he's on the stage, like behind the riser of the drum riser, with his back towards the audience with like the light jacket just going, and you're like, oh look, it's lights from like the, because we don't know what the backdrop's going to be, but I'm assuming there will be like lights in the backdrop, similar to like Final Frontier and things like that, and he's just always on the stage, and when they bust out, he just sort of like turns around. Could do. I don't know. I'm just spitballing right here.
I think he's just going to run up the stairs when it's time to sing.
Like a power slave, like...
Yeah, exactly.
I had a thought the other day that if they do Alexander the Great, what is the background on that going to be?
Alexander the Great as Eddie.
No, I'm
I like how you said it was Alexander the Great as Eddie and not Eddie as Alexander the Great. Very interesting how you said
No, it's actually Alexander, but he's playing Eddie.
It's Colin Farrell as Eddie.
But yeah, I'm thinking because it's like, some of the bigger epics and stuff like that, like Rime of the Ancient Mariner had like that whole ship background. It's like, are we going to have like ancient Greece or something as the background?
Just make it the Parthenon.
It could have like Pompeii exploding in the back or something. Totally unrelated. But...
Dude, that's what I was about to
I
say.
believe that was Rome. Was it not? But anyway,
Yeah, same era.
I did. It's about the same place. What if it was just a giant backdrop that says, finally?
Now shut up.
Now shut up.
Nah, it'll say cheers.
They'll
cheers.
play it at one show, be like, we did it, y'all can shut up. And
It's
then
not going to be any
Wrath
good show.
Child.
It's going to be a festival that no one's going to.
Vakken. So, I know a lot of people like to think about, what Eddie's going to come out. And if, now that they've done 2 Eddies in one show, is that a possibility again?
Yes.
Yes.
So, what and when do you think is going to come out, and when is it going to come out?
So, I think that we are going to get the Senjutsu Eddie again, probably during Writing on the Wall, and I think we'll get a Cyborg Eddie. I don't know if it'll be the same one from '08 or if they'll make a new one.
New one.
I think that could come out during, if they do Caught Somewhere in Time, as their intro, because it's like, they did Senjutsu, and they brought Senjutsu Eddie out first thing.
Mm-hmm.
Why not do it for the Somewhere in Time Cyborg Eddie? And then obviously we'll have the big blow-up Iron Maiden.
I like that idea too. And of course, I'm just talking about walk-ons right now. But I know, or I would assume they need to have a brand new Somewhere in Time Eddie because they have a guy since Book of Souls that makes them fitted to himself.
And they look better.
And I think that Ashley Groom used to play the Eddies. I don't know if that was one of the Eddies that he played or not, but, he unfortunately passed away, and it might have been fitted to him, so...
And the new ones since Book of Souls have had a lot more articulation and movement.
A lot more rubber.
Yeah, like the Trooper Eddie, they can just move. Like, if you can fight with Bruce, then there's a lot of movement in there. I think that there will be 2 Eddies again. And my idea is for the Senjutsu one to come out the same as last time, but I think he's going to come out during Parchment, during the final solos, just because it reminds me of the final solos in Book of Souls.
Okay, yeah.
And there's a good chunk of time there for maybe Bruce to play around with him or something.
I can see that. My thoughts on Writing on the Wall is, like, that's where we were introduced to the Samurai Eddie.
That's my number 2 idea, is that it will just walk out.
Like, during a day.
Yeah, he can march out.
Like, marching out.
Yeah, but then you can also like do like the sword thing again, like
Yeah.
pump up the crowd, that way. I think Writing on the Wall, for me, seems more realistic, but if not that, then probably like Parchment.
As long as they play the Parchment.
No, they'll play the Parchment for sure. That and Hell on Earth.
Everybody else we've been watching on YouTube seems to think Death of the Celts over the Parchment, and I'm just like, please God, don't let that be right.
Well, that's the thing, is like we would agree with them, but then we'd all be wrong. So
We'll get to our complaints. Let's finish the Eddie conversation first. For the Caught Somewhere in Time Eddie, or not Caught Somewhere in Time, Somewhere in Time.
Somewhere in Time, yeah.
I think he's going to come out during Stranger in a Strange Land, and I think he's going to be dressed as Stranger in a Strange Land.
I forgot about this idea, and I really like that.
Simply for the fact that in 2008 and 9, they had Somewhere in Time already come out, and he didn't have a lot of movement, but I think with a new style, they could bring it out for a new song,
He's
and
in the poster,
he could be different. Exactly. All they have to do is give him a cigar, a hat, and a poncho.
Can you imagine like a small like
trench
smoke
coat,
machine?
not a poncho.
Sorry, I live in Florida. We all
Well, no,
have
you're thinking of
ponchos.
the adventure, the Mexico adventure, where it's right.
Yeah, that kind of poncho, not the rain poncho.
Oh, a rain poncho.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what it is.
Yes.
From all the Steve sweat that's going to be splashing around.
So yeah, do you like that idea, Stranger in a Strange Land?
I think that if I could choose one, I would much prefer to have Stranger in Strange Land, just because it's new. Like, let's continue to see new things.
And imagine he comes out during Adrian's solo
I'd like
on
that.
that song. It'd be amazing. Exactly. He's got to have that right stomping time.
Steph, I want you to like make a subcategory of music videos where it's just you mouthing them, similar to how
He has to deal with this like every day for me.
Yeah.
You sound like Nico more and more as time passes.
Unfortunately, I'm gonna have to do that here in a minute.
I got when the wild wind blows stuck in his head like all day just because I was like
And then like 2 hours later, I'm just like, I forgot the words now.
They've been preparing for
some weeks now.
For when the
Crucial
That's me.
moment
It's just me all day, every day in the house. It's just like
singing Iron Maiden songs.
the guitar parts,
Just the guitar
not
parts.
singing them, but like doing the Nico thing. Or
Where you're just,
anyway, you were about
for
to
my
say.
idea for pyro. So every show, at least recently, has had the poppers up top, like the little fireworks. When do you think that's gonna pop up? Literally pop up.
Bam, bam, digga. Like right before Alexander.
That's exactly right.
yes.
But I think it starts earlier than that.
If they do Alexander.
They're doing Alexander.
If I am not so sure.
Okay.
You're not so sure?
Yeah. I think, like I said, it's 50-50.
Okay, so this leads into, while we're on the Alexander topic, I think that
Oh, this is a good one.
to facilitate the hardest part in the song, which is that bridge that goes, that weirdly timed part before the big solos and everything. I think Yannick is going to play that part.
I don't think it's too much of a step to say maybe technically Yannick is the most talented of the guitarists. Maybe not, we can get into like music writing and things like that, like actual like being an artist in that sense. But I think technically, I think he's the best guitarist in the band.
I mean, he's very good at the widdly parts.
He's very good at that kind of stuff, and like he does his own thing so much. But I think pound for pound, technically, I think he's the most proficient. So if he took that part, I think it would work.
And
problem.
that's why they said that, like, oh, we've never played Alexander because, just Adrian just couldn't remember, whatever. It's like,
that's fine.
To me, Adrian is the most. He gets the most frustrated, like learning things, and I think that part is specifically the reason they never played it in the '80s. Is because I've learned it, and it's really hard to get down right. And in a live setting, it'll be even harder. I just think Yannick will wrap his head around it a lot quicker and just kind of understand that part of music. Mm-hmm. And Adrian still gets his big solo. I personally think that Yannick, they got to give Yannick some shit to play anyway, so why not that part?
Like, we're going to get so many great Adrian solos on this tour that, it's not even funny. So Adrian will have all the time in the spotlight he needs. If Yannick needs to take that part, I'm fine with it.
Seriously, how many big Adrian solos are we going to get on this tour?
Too many.
Okay, so I think the pyro is going to hit at the end of that part that I mentioned that Yannick's going to play. And then
finish the song.
Yeah, we'll get to the end. All the way through the digga, and then the massive explosion when the riff comes in. That part. Do that. We're just telling you what you should do.
I think their plans are already set in stone.
No, they're still ironing it.
If I know
Maiden,
it out, they're gonna be like, "Oh fuck, gigs next week." Pyro to start.
I
the
wrote
show?
down how cool would it be if they brought back, and then I didn't finish the sentence.
It would be cool if they did that though. If they brought back. If they brought back.
Oh, it's actually I did. It continued.
Oh, it's a list.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be cool if they brought back better merch quality?
I was looking at the photo of the Somewhere in Time stage, and I mean, we know they're not going to rebuild the stage. They're going to keep the bones of the stage they've been using for the last 20 years.
It's got good bones.
It does have good bones, so why change it? But wouldn't it be cool if they managed to put the platforms back up front where Steve and Bruce would stand on? And to me, that's where they hid the fingies.
It is where they hid the fingies, and also like as you watch like a lot of the music videos, like also, Dave and Adrian are going up on the risers as well and things like that. I would love it if someone else but Bruce would venture, but
this is what I was thinking: is use the risers they already have, Bruce's side ones. Get Steve up there, get Steve on that right side riser and Bruce on the left, just like that tour. Have those fingies come out of those walls, and you've recreated it. I mean, yeah, Steve might trip and die, but it would be worth it.
Well, no, with the advancements in stair elevator technology, we can definitely put him on like one of those like sit chairs and just have him like
Acorn stair lifts.
Get up there. Yeah, acorn stair lift.
But do it in a way that we could all see it, like right on the side of the stage.
Yeah, we're just like,
yeah. Okay. Is there anything else? I feel like this has been going off of all my notes. But
No. Well, we have to get through your notes before we get to ours.
The time machine.
Yes. What about the time machine?
Tell me about the time machine.
Don't you remember? So this is what sparked this whole idea. James and I were jamming out to Time Machine,
as you do.
Hopefully, God willing, they play this. We're like, man, this is gonna be so great live. And then when it gets to the really proggy part, I'm like, how many shows do you want to bet it's going to be before they get this straight? The
And Adrian's doing all that Tool stuff.
Let me see. It's going to take them at least till Finland.
Yeah.
Saturday, June the 3rd.
I think we're going to get a few shows in the beginning where that is just not gelling quite right.
No.
Because it's very interesting.
We've all been to shows where they've messed up.
Oh, Sweden. You were there for
I was there
Sign of the Cross.
Sign of the Cross, where everyone just completely imploded.
Oh my
and
God.
Nico was like, nope, I'm correct. You figure it out. And everyone just sort of had to, like, slowly, like, with rock star attitude, find their way back to the drum set and be like, where are we? What time is this?
Yeah, I can't believe that they even, like, I thought the song, like, listening to the video was just gonna, like, fall apart. It was that bad.
It's bad.
But they nailed it after that.
After that, it was smooth sailing.
You can't blame them on some of these weird timing songs and everything, but I think that is going to happen a few times.
I think Time Machine is going to be a problem. I also think Caught Somewhere in Time is going to be a problem. I think they're going to come blasting out, and everyone's going to be doing a different version of in a different timing.
James, as a guitarist, of the 3 guitarists, who will be doing the harmony? Will it be a 3-part, or do you think it'll be Dave and Adrian, and then Yannick just playing the rhythm underneath?
I think that Adrian will be doing the rhythm underneath.
You think? He'll do the rhythm.
Yeah, I think they'll have Yannick doing a lot of the harmonies, because when it comes to the Somewhere in Time songs, like, there's harmonies all throughout it, and just give Yannick something to do. You know, other than solo, because honestly, on those songs, we don't want Yannick to take the solos. We just don't. They haven't been played in so long that we want to hear Dave and Adrian play them. So give him the harmonies, give him the tough little parts that will facilitate them playing a certain song called Alexander. And yeah, I think they're actually going to utilize Yannick a lot on this, because it's a super guitar heavy album anyway, that you really need 3 guitars. And there's 3-part harmonies on that album anyway.
You just never know. You never know. I'm just putting it out there in the world to be discussed.
You've spoken your piece.
I've spoken my piece. And now I'll go back and listen to your next point.
Well, I don't have any more points. But...
No, I didn't know if you didn't know if you had any more notes.
Well, that's it then.
Well, I'm just moving on to Adventures after that.
Okay,
but
well, that's fine.
That's good.
Is there anything more towards the show end that you'd like to talk about?
I don't think we're getting worlds. I don't think we're getting major set changes.
No.
I think all of that has...
I want it that way, too. I want to see something like a Tokyo Blade Runner, and it just stays that way for the whole show.
I'd like to see, like, some layered... I don't know if you guys have ever been on rides, but... the Aerosmith roller coaster and the Mummy, they have those neon pictures.
Signs, yeah, neon.
I want to see layers of those going back, almost like the Somewhere in Time tour.
That is an interesting tour. I hope
But I was also thinking, like, they kind of dropped the ball on Made in England, because the Seventh Son tour had that kind of layering
Dimension.
feeling.
It had a lot of dimensions, yeah.
And I want to see that again. Like, I know they're never going back and recreating stages, but I want to see something. Steph.
I want to see some Book of Souls level dimension. That stage was like
the Book of Souls stage is...
king of dimension. Like, the backdrops and everything. It was just
attention to detail, too, was just incredible.
And the lighting. It's amazing.
Yeah.
So. Nothing, obviously, Legacy was Legacy, and Legacy was, like, such, like, a... Wow, like,
it was incredible. But, like, I saw, like, somebody on the forum was talking about, like, oh, well, they're gonna open with Senjutsu because they had already built that stage and everything. I'm like, no, like, that took so long for them to take down that I feel like it was probably a bit regretful.
It was like 3 minutes.
It was a long time.
Like, they could have played another
sitting
song
there in the dark, and it took the crew so much time. I'm sure it was like a lot more, like, to look around and everything. And I think that that was cool while they had it, but, like, I don't want any changes. I just want them to have, like, this cool hybrid stage, just like they did the Hybrid Eddie on the announcement. Like, hybrid stage stays the same the whole show.
I also don't want to have, like, all the Somewhere in Time songs bunched together and all the Senjutsu songs bunched together, because then people that are just here for one or the other are going to get bored, and you want that surprise to keep it fresh. Like, I want to hear Time Machine and then Stranger in a Strange Land or something
2 minutes
like that.
in between, you know, like one of the other classics.
And because I think if it's only one way or another, you're gonna lose the crowd. And you want to be able to break it up nicely and not have, and also like the idea is also like, I think we spoke about this on a previous video where look at like modern like Tokyo and how like it's a really like interesting sort of like amalgamation of just like traditional but also like neon signs and like it's future old and things like that.
That's what I mean when I say like Blade Runner Tokyo, because what was it, Los Angeles? I'm not like too familiar on Blade Runner lore, but I think it's Los Angeles.
It was Los Angeles.
So do a Tokyo Blade Runner sort of like inspired stage set, and I think it'll be really cool.
Mm-hmm.
The only other idea I had that is definitely not going to happen, but you know how in 86 and 87 the drums would raise up and then the Eddie head... That's not happening.
No.
You don't think Nico's going for a ride?
No, I don't.
No, I think Nico will get a bloody nose and fall backwards off the stage.
What nose?
Sorry. But just thinking about the Eddie head, what if the head that came up was that hybrid Eddie head, and then each hand that came out the sides was like a Senjutsu claws, and then the other hand was...
I wondered if that would be the blow up Eddie, but I don't know how they would accomplish that, because like half the head has like a helmet up here, because I'm like painting this in a commission, and it's weird because it's like half the helmet is up here, and then it just goes like down to the cyborg head.
Do it.
Well, what song did they blow that out on? Was it Iron Maiden?
It's Iron Maiden.
In the
It's always
80s?
Iron Maiden.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I mean, it wouldn't be dedicated to either album.
No.
So yeah, just do Somewhere in Time. We just want Somewhere in Time.
Just
like,
more Somewhere in
More
Time.
Somewhere in Time than Senjutsu, please, on the stage.
Well, I'd like equal songs, but
Yeah,
as
equal
far as
songs.
the Eddies go, like that's...
You can have all the Senjutsu you want, but make everything about Somewhere in Time. That's all I ask. It's all of my requirements.
All right, now back to Death of the Celts.
Death of the Celts. So I was listening to it actually the other day, and still not good. And
I've been trying to like listen to it again with her in the car, and she's like, "Don't play that."
Well, no. He's like, let's give it a chance. I'm like, I've given it like 70 chances. I keep going back to it. I don't like it. And he's like, no, let's listen to it. He'll get like 30 seconds and like, nah, you're right.
it's like we're trying to like there's something here. What are we missing? Everyone else is just like, I think it's one of the best songs I've ever heard. And then you listen to it and you're like, win!
And this is the weird thing that we've noticed is, there's other channels that kind of touch on what we do, and they speculate on set lists. And
So I want to know what everybody else is
almost
thinking, too.
all of them say they expect Death of the Celts
And Darkest Hour.
and Darkest Hour and Senjutsu again, and I just don't get it. Like,
Of all of those, I think Darkest Hour might be the least likely.
Yeah.
But Senjutsu again? I just don't see it.
Well, just with the comments and stuff that Steve and Rod made on the press release when the tour was announced and everything, it just seems like they want to pretty much do like, oh, we want to play some of the epics and stuff, the longer songs from the new album that we haven't got the chance to play yet. And it's like, that doesn't leave much room. Like Senjutsu,
that's a long
Senjutsu
song.
is like 7-minute song, and so is a
Yeah.
Time Machine. And with the namesake of the tour, I kind of really expect the Time Machine. Cause
and
it fits.
also, nobody seems to be talking about Time Machine as
Yeah.
a possibility, or Days of Future Past. Those two songs have gotten
It's
radio
50-50
silence.
It's 50-50 on Days of Future Past. I've seen so many like videos where nobody even brings it up. I'm like, it's the name of the tour, and it's
name
the
of the
shortest
tour.
song on the album.
Yeah.
And Time Machine, on top of obviously being a fantastic live song, it's time related.
I mean, Time Machine. You know, if they're gonna do any sort of stage changeover, that would be the song to do
Sometimes
it.
it feels like the obvious is too obvious. But in this case, I think it's...
I think that one is obvious.
And then we're gonna get to Ljubljana, and we're gonna be in front of that stage, and they're gonna play Death of the Celts, Darkest Hour, Wrathchild,
Senjutsu.
Senjutsu,
Wrathchild.
Stratego. But yeah.
What is your reaction? Quickly. Boom. Quick reaction. You hear Wrathchild live. Again.
I just laugh.
No thanks.
No, thanks. Not cheers, mate. Not cheers.
Not cheers.
I mean, I'm okay with it.
I am too, but not on this tour. This tour deserves
What
better.
tour needs it?
This tour deserves better.
The
okay?
Wrathchild tour.
Like, Book of Souls, it made its way onto there because of the whole Hallowed thing, and they had to switch things around. But, like, that was a 1-album tour. This is a 2-album tour. There is no room for that bullshit, okay?
Bullshit song.
There's no room.
That bullshit
There's
song.
no room to just be like, just throw in Wrathchild. Like, no. There are plenty of songs to be playing.
No, when they get halfway through the show and they can't play Time Machine, they'll be like, oh, Wrathchild in.
Well, you know what?
Scooted in there.
We'll be there for the one and only time they play Time Machine then.
No, they're going to get halfway through it in Ljubljana and say, Rothschild? Yeah, I see Rothschild in.
Sorry, guys, we can't do this.
Steve, get on the riser.
Distract them.
Distract him. Do the dance. Moving on. On that disappointment. So, are we going to get away from T-shirt ink?
My bet is no. I think we're going to see T-shirt ink again next year.
This is the stuff that real hardcore fan club nerds, this is the nuts and bolts.
This is what we bitch about.
This is our bread and butter.
So, like, if you were here for all the Maiden scoopage and stuff like that, I appreciate that, but we're going to get into some real garbage right here. T-shirt Inc. was the T-shirt company that was used on the past tour, both Europe and North America and South America. Well, not really South America.
There was like some sizes that were like extra large and stuff on some of them was like different brands.
No disrespect for the people at T-shirt Inc. who work there. I'm sure they're great people.
But you're bullshit.
But your shirts suck. They don't wash correctly. The sizing is incorrect. Everything
shrink.
about it is bad. Please.
God.
Do better.
This is T-shirting. I haven't had a problem though.
Yeah,
see? Look at this.
Yeah, because
garbage.
You cut your shirt off. It's like, look at this highly modified shirt that I've had no problems with.
Oh no, I'm just saying like
that I've never washed.
I don't have a problem with shrinkage.
Well.
Neither do I.
No.
Oh, son of a... Yeah, anyway.
Okay,
Yeah.
we expect more T-shirt ink and $50 T-shirts.
55.
You think 55?
I don't know, man. They can sell
I'll
this.
pay it.
That's why they do it, because they know.
That's stupid, but I hate it. No, but you know, to go back to the whole A, pricing, and B, quality, I only bought event shirts and one shirt all tour because the quality just was not good enough for me to justify, like,
This was the only like non-date specific shirt that I bought last year, and then I bought Canada and Florida, and that was it. I didn't even buy all the event
You didn't
shirts.
buy New York either. Yeah.
So that one, and then my
Shoot that fucker.
Yeah, my tail gunner shirt. We got those in Croatia.
Yep.
So we didn't really buy much else that whole tour.
We just got the event shirts that we liked. Like I didn't
Canada
like. I didn't
Florida.
like New Jersey and New York's event shirt, so I didn't buy it because it's like it's an event shirt and I was there, but I mean I can't justify paying that much money for something I'm not gonna wear.
100%. Like honestly, it's bad when the bootleg shirt's being sold outside the venue of higher quality than what's being sold.
Speaking of event shirts, do you think the Shark makes a triumphant return?
The Shark?
Yeah.
100%. Not happening.
It's a U.S. thing. This is Europe.
Yeah,
Sorry.
Europe
Do they have sharks?
Europe
Do they
doesn't have
sharks
sharks.
Well, they do, but
Leave a comment. Do you have sharks?
loan sharks.
Low sharks, right?
So I think there's going to be I don't think there's going to be too many specific date shirts, but they have a lot of dates in the same countries.
Yeah, I had my guesses on my phone, but clearly
I think there's going to be a general UK shirt.
Of course, London.
Of course. I think there's going to be an O2 shirt. Spain has 3 shows. I think there could be a Spanish shirt. Germany has 6 shows, including Wacken. So that they have to have a German shirt.
Absolutely.
German.
Maybe Finland.
No, I was gonna say. So I wrote down maybe the Nordics because they never seem to do just like a Sweden shirt or a Norway shirt. They always do Nordics, which is like Denmark, Sweden, Norway, Finland. But this time they're only playing Norway, Finland, Sweden, and one of those is a festival. So I don't know.
There's definitely going to be a Nordic shirt. I think so. Even without Denmark, I don't see them not doing it because they sell like hotcakes.
And it wasn't there was a festival that they started with. Yeah, it was the Rockfest that they played at.
Sweden
Finland.
Rockfest?
No.
Or no?
Rockfest Finland.
Oh, okay.
I think it was Rockfest. I don't know. It was
These generic names.
It was a festival in Finland, and that was like I think the first place that the Nordic shirt was available. So it's like even with the Sweden date being Sweden Rock, I think it'll still be for sale there. I don't know. Was Bergen the first one? No. Tampa.
What year are you talking about?
Last year. The one with the dragon, where Eddie was like riding a dragon.
Great, love a good dragon.
But I think, that was the first place it was
France?
available. Yes, Hellfest.
Hellfest
specific, yeah. I think, because I think they've done Hellfest specific shirts before.
Yep, to 20, I can't remember the exact year, but it was a made in England. It was...
Yeah, the bikes. He was on a bike, right? For the Tour de France.
Well, that was Legacy, and then before that, there was one where it's the Hellfest Ice, the H as ice.
Okay,
and
yeah.
then Eddie, like somewhere Seventh Son Eddie above it, and then there's also one with him in a car. There's a bunch of France shirts.
Yeah, so we'll get Hellfest. We'll get Germany, Spain, UK.
Some unreleased Australia.
Poland.
We never get Poland shirts. Like they'll always play those 2 dates, but you never get an event shirt.
You never get one.
Hey, we didn't get one for Texas either, and they always do Texas.
Yeah, well, Texas is mid, as the kids say these days. Small shows.
I think that's about it on event shirts.
I think we've got it.
I wish they would do like more special ones. Like I really wish they had one in like Croatia last year. 'Cause it's like
Just do like a one-off random city. Like,
right.
I mean, not to toot the horn of another band, but like, it is nice when Metallica randomly is like, "Hey, what's up, Pittsburgh? Here's your shirt."
I mean,
cool.
Maiden threw a weird one out there with Minneapolis back in 2017.
I want to know, like, I want a VH1 behind the music on that shirt because that shirt makes no sense.
Was that 2017 or 19?
It's 2017
That's
because
what
it was Book
I
of
thought.
Souls.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that was fucking weird.
Either way, I'm very excited to see the merch just because it's gonna be somewhere in time merch.
Yes.
I will buy more shirts if there's more somewhere in time on these shirts. So
Yeah.
Put that out there as well.
yeah.
Maiden Tower.
Anyway, any other predictions, thoughts? Speak your piece.
Yeah, this is gonna be the final tour for
Iron Maiden.
for Iron Maiden. No, definitely for I think more songs. I think more songs are gonna get retired, just like we thought with like Legacy. I mean obviously we have 2024 to come.
Yeah.
But Aces High, I think, is retired after Legacy.
Very, very good chance.
I could see other songs especially getting retired this year. 100%. I think every Somewhere in Time song except Wasted Years
Yeah.
is like Stone Cold.
That's
is
it.
That's
Get it in
This
now,
is your one
or
chance to see it.
or don't get it at all.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate too because like obviously like we like the newer albums, but I don't see Book of Soul songs coming back. I don't see Senjutsu songs coming
Or
back.
Final Frontier.
Or
Like,
Final Frontier
like
songs.
any of like the last 10 years of albums, like those songs aren't coming back.
They're not coming back, and
We've had no revisitation yet
Not even.
past Matter of Life and Death.
No, and I love El Dorado. I love Speed of
Oh.
Light. If I could hear Book of Souls again, I would love that. If I could even like throw a curveball and do Talisman again.
I was
I'd
just
love
thinking
that.
that.
I like great stuff, but again, I don't. This is if you want to see any of these songs. I know most of the shows are sold out.
You gotta go.
You gotta go.
Well, I mean, the U.S. tour in South America is coming next year, so if you are in the U.S. or South America
Yeah.
and you want to hear these songs, you better start saving your money right now because we are very lucky to have this tour, and I don't know that we will ever get these songs.
No, we won't get them again, and you're right. Like I'm looking towards the future. So like I dropped Ljubljana because the price is just getting inflated, and I know that come 2024 when they do North, South America, the Caribbean, Oceania, and Japan, I gotta be there. I didn't want to scoop your channel, but there we go. So I know I'm gonna go to those places, and so you have to be smart. So if you are planning, it's never too soon to start really planning.
Of course.
So I mean, we always are well in advance on planning, even when we have no idea where we're going.
I know. We
It's
have
tickets first.
We have a group chat, and we've all been like talking recently about like, oh, so are you guys gonna do Japan or Australia? And it's like we don't even know if they're gonna be like playing there, and
Right.
they're like discussing which we would pick.
Steph has a savings account dated to 2014 that says Costa Rica. That she's when they play Costa Rica, I'll be there. And like every year, they never play there, and she's like, oh, I'll go back one day.
It's been so long. 2016.
I know, and you want to go there so badly, but
It's so cheap to get to.
everywhere's so cheap to get to.
No, it's not. Ljubljana's
Ljubljana's
not.
not.
Okay, well, don't use my words against me. How about that?
You have any more words?
No.
All right. Well, I think that's all we've got for you today. So this has been the Captain Harris Show with,
The
Hello,
Caps.
the cast of characters. I'm Logan.
I'm James.
and I'm Steph, and we'll see you next time.
See you at the movies, at the concerts.
That's the one.
Yeah, that's become the permanent. Oh shit! It started.
We're not ready.
Yeah. No.
But
Yeah, let's just restart.
Oh my god.
Is it
From the
too
very
fast?
I meant to have my
beginning.
hair down.
Oh no! I felt like we did good. Oh no!